This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in New Jersey. I'm here with Papa J, Death Doula. In 2023, has been providing an extra layer of support based on the needs of his clients with a goal to improve the quality of life at the end of life. I'm joined with Marc, who is the Death Doula. Thanks so much for joining us here, Marc.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start off a little bit about yourself. I mean, really, since the 80s, you have been involved in theater, multimedia, accounting, management, consulting. Share with me a little bit how this new chapter of assisting others in their last chapter kind of came to be.
Well, at the beginning of COVID, theater, there was no theater, there was no business meetings, consulting was dying, businesses weren't. And a friend of mine asked me if I could help. Her mother died in Denver, and her sister lived in Maine, and the other sister lived in London. And can I help stream the funeral service from Denver to them? And I said, sure. And I got myself a camera, and a better camera, better microphones, set it all up at the funeral home. And the funeral home fell in love with what I did, to the point they had 7 or 8 branches in Denver. I can't remember the exact name of the funeral home, but they have 7 or 8 branches. And in the next 3 or 4 years, I did over 200 funerals streaming. Sometimes we were doing, they were connecting me with people that weren't doing funerals in the chapel, and I would do virtual funerals and life celebrations. I've done 2 life celebrations that are live people who just wanted to, they knew they were dying, and they, so the last
be a part of the event and actually take part in it. That was something that was very needed there during COVID for sure.
Yeah, and I grew into their families. And the last one was a live person, and he's the one that came to me and said, you would do very well as a death doula. And I didn't really like the term, so that's why I've changed it to end of life doula. Death sort of has a...
That is very cool. I love that. I love that story. Basically, you just found yourself in that industry and realized this is something that you probably someone told you could do great with. I mean, really,
I'm enjoying it tremendously with my. Yeah. And I'm still trying to determine the word to describe my patients, my friends, my clients. Yeah. I think patients, it's...
Yeah, I mean, we as Americans, while we enjoy living our life, we do not enjoy talking about the end of our life. I mean, is the inevitable end-of-life topic almost taboo for many people?
It is, and there's an organization out of London called deathcafe.com, which started out years ago, where you got to a coffee shop and you sat around and talked about death, but not from a point of view of grief, but a point of view of opening up the communications so that you would talk to your friends, family, and loved ones both ways. I talk with my son has got lupus and a form of lymphoma, and he knows how I want to die, and I know how he wants to die, and we have those conversations. And that's to me something that I want to do for everybody.
I mean, it was Benjamin Franklin who said, "Nothing is certain except death and taxes." So even if we don't discuss this end event, it will still come to pass for really all of us. So is it important that we give some thought to how we want to end that final chapter?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, writing it down in a will and then dying and then your family reading the will, they could just rip up the page. They don't have to go by it. But if you talk about it and you get it expressed, you can make sure that they understand your feelings. I have a patient the patient is actually not dying yet. She's got
Yep.
Lou Gehrig's, but her mother is in stage 4 cancer. And one of the things my friend said, my patient, is that she wishes her parents would die and stop their suffering. And I said to her, well, have you talked to them about what they want? And she went back and talked to her mother and then came back and told me that her mother said, I want to live every possible moment with my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. And I will do everything I need to do to fight this cancer in order to have that time with those people. So it's just about having the conversations. And we don't in America. We don't in the Western world. They do in the Far East more than we do. And I'm hoping that I have a revolution where people start talking about it.
Definitely. It's important for us here in the West to start embracing that a little bit more. I mean, palliative care is specialized medical care for people living with a serious illness. What role does a death doula kind of play in that care, would you say?
We provide companionship, comfort, and guidance to those facing the end of life. My non-medical holistic support encompasses emotional, spiritual, and practical care. And then I can relay whatever I'm told to the loved ones, because sometimes when you're dying, the loved ones don't hear you.
Yeah.
Or they hear you but don't listen. So sometimes you need a mediator.
Yeah, kind of the conduit in between that. I mean, is your care based on the needs of the patient and not so much on the patient's prognosis? I mean, what questions do you kind of ask when matching your services to a client?
So there's a quote from Patch Adams, and I'm going to paraphrase, where he talks about what makes a patient and what makes a doctor a doctor. Is a doctor not somebody who just comforts somebody who is ill and dying. And that's what I'm doing. I'm comforting somebody who's
absolutely taking care of some of the practical needs for them and understanding that emotional side. That is excellent. I mean, the goal,
as I said to you earlier, as I texted you earlier this morning, I spent with a patient taking her to 3 different doctors, and I've been doing her driving because she's not allowed to drive. So, there is a practical part.
Absolutely. Yeah, which is definitely needed for folks like that. I mean, one less thing off their plate. I mean, the goal of what you offer is to really relieve the kind of day-to-day suffering and provide the best possible quality of life. Is this not only for your clients, but can it also help the families as well?
It absolutely is for the families and friends and families, loved ones. I lump them all together as loved ones. And it goes beyond the moment of death, because people have to go through a grieving process. And again, they could need the comfort and support of somebody. Doctors, once you die, the doctors stop talking to the families.
The benefits,
the whole palliative care. Even when my mother died and she was in palliative care, we never heard from any of them after my mother died.
Yeah, I mean, so the benefits are before the death, during, and even after, like you said. I mean, a death doula can really help us answer the hard question: how do you want to die? And ultimately, how do you want to live up to that end?
Yes, that's exactly the questions you ask. And that's the questions you ask the person so that you can convey that to their family.
That is excellent. I mean, the more we are willing to talk about the end things, we are able to raise the awareness of how to prepare for an end of life that each individual actually designs. I mean, this is beneficial whether you're young, old, sick, or not, would you say?
Yes. And I'm going to throw out another quote. I can't pronounce his name very well. Atul Gawande, who was a neurosurgeon who's now a palliative care doctor, wrote a book, and he came up with a list of 4 or 5 questions to ask people who are at that stage. And, it's basically, what are you willing to give up or not give up in order to live in pain and suffering? And one man answered, as long as I can eat chocolate ice cream and handle the TV remote, I want to live.
That is right. I like that answer. I mean, it's an actual
It's a simple answer,
but many times we as a family, we have no idea what they want because we're too afraid to ask, where a doula can come in and tackle those questions and find out that maybe we really like their answer. I mean, as a doula, let's face it, you're not a doctor. This is not medical. For you, this is not about treating a disease, but really treating a person with genuine quality care. Is it hard for you to lose someone that you've cared for?
Being new at this, I haven't gotten to that point.
Yeah.
I know that one of my patients, when I lose her, she was a dear friend before she became a patient. I will definitely have a hard time.
I'm sure in the years to come, that is something you're going to experience. And obviously, that's something we're going to have to give another interview for and ask you how that went. I mean, Marc, these are not your patients. They are not your clients. These are people who become your friends. Is it rewarding to provide emotional, spiritual, and practical care to them?
Oh, without a doubt. It's just, it really does give me chills down my spine when I talk to people and I get the thanks from them and the appreciation from them for having the conversation. One patient is having some issues with her daughters about getting help from them. And I reminded her that they were teenagers. It's just a teenage revolutionary or revolting. And that as they get older and hopefully you're still around, it will be less burdensome to them. And in the meantime, I'm there for you.
I'm definitely excited to see where the future is going to take you with this service. I can tell that you're someone who is very passionate about what you're doing. Your heart is in it, and basically you understand the need is there. You have witnessed it firsthand. I mean, viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is his Facebook page where you can connect and reach out to him. I mean, a doctor may be able to delay the death of a patient, but a death doula can increase a person's quality of life. I mean, all we ask is to be allowed to remain the writers of our own story. Let Marc help you write and live that final chapter. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.